Hi, I'm Liz.
And I'm Rhea.
Welcome to Karma's My Bitch, a podcast about love,
Sex,
connection,
abundance,
joy,
purpose,
peace,
and how life isn't simply the stories we tell ourselves.
I love it when people the first time you have like a magical moment, right? Because for me, it feels so crazy and it feels so like, wow, so serendipitous, so synchronicity.
Synchronicity has a lot more to do with fate.
Okay.
Yeah, as
I
in,
didn't know
wow,
this.
this is happening, and it's actually what's in line with your fate. And, you know, it seems surprising because it seems out of left field when really it's, no, here it is. But magic, again, it's the cherry on top of the sundae, which already tastes good with the ice cream and the whipped cream, which is a nice post-karmic life, right? You don't have to have it to make your life better. It's not a necessarily measure of your power either as an individual or as a divine being. It's just possible.
Okay.
And I mean that as it is not a measure of your power that you can do it.
That's what I want to
sense?
unpack. No, I'm confused. What do you mean?
You're powerful because you can create your own life, full stop. Being able to magic something does not make you more powerful than the person who cannot magic something.
Okay.
Right?
And what is the difference between someone who can magic something and someone who cannot?
Well, as we discussed in the previous episodes about magic, you know, it could be bloodline. It could just be that you've tapped into a level of divine consciousness once you are in higher consciousness plus. Again, anyone can be a witch in 5D. But you can maybe be a little extra if you want. But we are never going to say one person's more powerful than the other because it's not about comparison.
And also because someone might be more powerful in one way and someone might be more powerful in another. You have exactly what you need to fulfill your fate. Exactly.
Yeah. The whole karmic undoing process is to prove to yourself that you are the most powerful being in your life. And so when we talk about magic, and you see magic all over social media now, a lot of which is not real magic, as we know, a lot of that is either,
fate.
Like you said, it's fate. So therefore it's synchronicity, or it's flow. Flow is when your fate is unfolding naturally and you're tapped into that energy of higher consciousness. You could experience flow. I'm going to say this and it sounds a little confusing, but I'm going to try to explain it clearly. You can experience flow even if you're in your karma because it is not your own flow. So say you're in sort of a group thing. And I don't mean group sex. That sounded really funny.
I perked up.
So say, I know. You're like, all of a sudden, this is so much more interesting, Liz. This is not the sex episode yet, right? Say you're in a group healing session.
Okay.
Like you're in a group meditation, you're in a group full moon circle, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, you know, you're tapping into a particular energy and you actually find that somehow things are flow for you for like a day or two because you've taken that energy with you.
Yeah.
That can happen. That can happen while you're like, once you've tapped into that, even if you're still in your karma. The thing is, you cannot keep that energy because it doesn't belong to you. Apologies. You cannot keep that energy because it doesn't belong to you. So the same thing would say, like, so say you went on this magical retreat in Hawaii.
This is fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like these episodes are like really interesting.
Yeah, right. They get a little meaty, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And
finally, because it's like this episode is about this tiny thing, and now we're like, here's loads of stuff, and it's all really interesting. And I'm
trying. Yeah, but so say you go to a retreat in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Right, and all this like quote unquote magical feelings start to come up. Well, we know it's not real magic; it's just really nice, yummy, fuzzy feelings that you're getting. Yeah, because you're surrounded either by like-minded people, or you are somehow allowing yourself to fall under the influence of this really smart, great influencer who says a lot of great things.
And also, hitting points on your destiny does feel yummy.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's
right.
that's the thing that we forget. Even in your karma, like there's a reason why you have that toxic relationships because at the beginning it feels yummy.
Yeah,
you know, there's a reason why things unfold in a certain way. You have to get to certain points of your destiny, just as your fate.
Yeah.
So there are going to be moments which seem like synchronicity, which seem like flow, because as we said as well, destiny is part of your fate.
And when you're surrounded by like-minded people who are hoping for the same thing.
Yeah.
Who are tapping into a shared desire for improvement or personal growth or whatever, it can feel really good. You know, you've got that collective emotional and mental and occasionally spiritual vibe that you're, you know, that is created by the group, right? Yeah. And so you can come away feeling like, oh, this is amazing, you know, this is going to change my life. And maybe you carry that for a month, maybe you carry that for a few weeks. Even whatever, it doesn't matter. But eventually that energy dissipates because it doesn't belong to you.
It
belonged to the collective that was
Yeah.
created. And the longer you're apart, then you have no energy to tap into.
Okay.
Right? The energy dissipates. And it's never belonged to you, right? So it's gone. If there's no well to tap into.
Whereas
Yeah.
if it comes from you, you can go
It's
forever.
always there, even if you feel like it's not there. Like you have your down days or something,
Yeah.
and you're like, I feel like my power is gone. I'm like, no, it's not gone, right? Your connection's just been dimmed. So that's the difference. So when I see a lot of magic stuff being touted, I think, well, here we go again with the sort of misleading labels and stuff. And then people start to kind of run away with it, and they think, well, I can magic now.
Well, also, I think it's like kind of two things, right? Like
Yeah.
on the one side, it's we can't explain or fully use or avail ourselves, instead of take advantage of, avail ourselves of magic unless we understand it, right? And
Exactly.
we definitely can't teach it
Yeah.
unless we understand it. Because otherwise we can't help but put on old school ideas. So magic is effectively sounding like manifestation. Quantum leaping is effectively magic. You know, like all the stuff, like when I go and I look at stuff and I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about, but that's not actually what it is. Because once you can understand it, and that's why we really, although it's felt like baby step by baby step.
Which it is, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why we do it the way we do on the podcast, is that we give you the tools to understand it so that, yes, you can magic because you understand why. You understand that it's
Precisely.
it's moving from one reality to another, but both realities are in your fate.
Yeah.
So you're just choosing the yummier one. But both are yummy in their instances because they are already in your fate.
And it is important to understand the mechanics of these concepts. Otherwise, even if you're doing it but you don't understand it, you're either not going to realize its fullest potential, or everything's just going to be a matter of happenstance.
Thing is that we've discussed this in previous episodes, and we weirdly discussed this when I went to that weird church situation. But seeing is believing. We've discussed that in an episode. Miracles, human beings do need to see proof in order to believe there's pudding, or whatever the phrasing goes. So it can become a kind of ego trap where it's like, look, I can magic this, therefore look how spiritual I am.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I can magic this, therefore all my things have miraculously healed. Or I can magic this, therefore I am ego free, karma free, blah, blah free, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, let me tell you that no, you can magic stuff and still there will always be something to work through. Or not in like a painful way, my God, dear God, no. More just that there are always more layers to our lives. We have spent this long living, therefore we have spent this long creating bullshit.
Yeah.
There will always be more bullshit to uncover.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't mean that there's no such thing as perfect. So when magic is not a pissing contest, if I can do something, it's often, and also just as a side note, in my experience of magic, it's always quite unexpected. And even if I try to explain how it was magical to someone else, they'd think I was fucking crazy.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, you had a nice meal.
Okay, that's great. You had a nice holiday. Oh, you got to the airport on time. Oh, you found like, they're bullshit things, like it's not really like, I wouldn't necessarily say that actually the big things that have happened in my life, the chance meetings, the important meetings, the important relationships, all those things, those were fate-based. Those aren't magic-based.
But there are instances in which the magic will get bigger.
Okay, I haven't experienced
Now,
this
remember, as we said in whatever previous episodes, well, whatever, you just said it today, which is everything's baby steps.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't come out of your karma and then suddenly manifest, a beachfront mansion, for example. This is going to be really benign, but a beachfront mansion in the Bahamas, with the hot partner and the fast car, whatever material gain. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. Again, it's like thinking that winning the lottery overnight is going to be life-changing in a positive way. Yeah. It's not likely going to be very positive, other than the
most
fact
people. I think how many people committed suicide that won the lottery?
Well, that's the thing, is we're not actually as much as we think we are. We're not prepared for overnight, quote unquote, success or change or transformation. Yeah. If it were to happen, most people would probably explode. Like 100%. You'd implode from that level of change.
I just remember being in my unlovable story for so long, and then I met someone who I actually liked that seemed to like me. I freaked out and sabotaged the whole fucking thing within 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Or at least attempted to many times. Yeah. It's just not possible. You can't.
No, because consciousness is a step-by-step process.
And everything about being a human being as this part of the season is. It's about natural progression. If it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel real, and it doesn't last.
No, because humans are not hardwired for it. And that's what people have to remember is that, spirit, when we really focus on our spiritual growth, as you can attest to, you go fast.
Yeah.
Right? We focus on using karma as a modality to heal ourselves because we know that is the fastest way spiritually. The way we present it is still, it's step by step, so you don't destroy your life in the process.
100%.
Right? Because that undoing will naturally destroy it, but if you just take a grenade to it, you're going to take longer picking up the pieces. Yeah. So it's the same thing with this, which is you are going to end up dramatically changing your life. It's just going to be in a way in which it is not going to destroy your life in such a way that...
Which is, to be honest, ideal.
It is
right?
ideal.
Like even like for someone like me who's I might be impatient, but I'm also a bit slow sometimes. If something great happens, you're going to, if you're not ready and it doesn't feel natural, it will implode. It has to be natural. Everything has to be natural.
Yeah. And it can be really overwhelming otherwise.
Because it's not an expression of you.
No, but it can be overwhelming when you're introduced to all your gifts at one time.
What do you mean by that?
So in the sort of spiritual psychic sense.
Okay.
If a person sort of wakes up and realizes that they can see dead people and they can talk to dead people or, commune with the spirits and, touch something and it transform. I mean, you think you can handle all that in one go?
Well, it's the truth. Movies are made of that. People freak out and they're like, oh my God. And then at the end of the movie, they always go back to who they were. They don't ever get used to their powers and stay that way.
No, exactly.
Right?
Like at some point they realize, at first they get scared and then they realize how it's amazing. And then they go back because they realize they appreciate their lives as they were.
Yeah. I think I would have probably checked myself into the madhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
It just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just not possible.
Yeah. And it is because in some ways it's so divergent from our human experience that we have to find our own way to kind of marry the two so that they can exist harmoniously within us as opposed to, continuing the sort of separation experience of, okay, well, that's me compartmentalizing this part but then I have this other part. Yeah. And it's not that simple.
It's like any new skill, right? You learn how to draw a stick figure. And then all of a sudden that's part of your repertoire. Yeah. Then you start doing more and more and more. And then eventually one day, drawing is just part of who you are. But you don't sit down and spend hours staring at it, focusing. It just naturally comes. So it's a bit like that, I guess, is how I would describe it. And that's, I feel for me, the bit that kind of the weird secret that I took a while to discover for myself is that, which you probably knew earlier, which is that
possibly
all the gifts that I have, some of them I've had since a child, and they have nothing to do necessarily spirituality wise, being able to read people and, shit like that, which really definitely did not help my unlovable story because I'm like, oh, they're pissed off at me. But, as I've gone on, I realize that each thing that I learn I can do, whatever it is, or each talent that I discover, or each gift I discover, or each joy I discover, there's kind of at first it's quite exciting and new, a bit like a first date, that, and then at some point it just becomes part of you. And it's not about showing them off or parading them. It's actually just incorporating them into my life. Yeah. And they become everyday. They become normal and they become quite human.
Yes. Yeah. Right? Which could feel like a downer for some people where they want it to feel special. They want it to feel quote unquote magical or
everything
extraordinary.
That's magical loses its shine. Think of a new car at some point. It's going to have to go to the scrap heap.
Exactly.
I mean, scrap heap is a bit extreme.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if I would liken it to that, but okay. No. I get your catch your drift, but yeah.
Yeah. At some point, having long hair was a really cool thing for me. Now it's just got long hair.
It's just your hair.
It's just my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's what makes spirituality so addictive and that lifestyle. When you look at it from the outside in, it's oh, wait a second, this person seems to have all these things fall into their lap and everything's so magical and everything's so amazing. I'm stuck in my karma and I feel like shit and I hate everything. So I'm going to be secretly envious of them, but I want to also. Yeah.
No, very well said. Exactly. It's sort of then I'm just going to go mimic this formula that they seem to have followed and it works for them. Yeah. And then, of course, we find it doesn't work for us.
Or if it does even for a little bit, our reality is actually never transformed, because that's, but at the end of the day, like a lot of people why do you turn to manifestation? Why do you turn to magic? Why do you turn to all of these things? To be happy, to be free. Really, the undercurrent feeling of it all. It's not about the car, the person, the job. It's the feeling, right?
Yeah.
Which is why we're always saying, focus on the feeling. But if nothing is really shifted or transformed other than what it looks like on the outside, how the fuck is that magical?
It's not.
It's just an illusion.
Exactly. It's just an illusion, right? Just sleight of hand.
Yeah.
That's not real magic.
No. And also it's if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel happy, if it doesn't feel magical, for want of a better word, it's not fucking magical.
I guess that's why it's still magic.
Yeah. But you know what
no
I mean?
other word for it.
There's no other word.
Well, because spirituality allows us to make real a world from the individual to the collective that is sourced. I mean, follow me here. Where that world is sourced and made from the divine, who is us. Because we're all magical beings, right? Like if you have a soul, you are divinely connected. Full stop. So if we are divinely connected, we are sourced. And if we are sourced, then we are capable of anything and everything.
In theory, that stands,
So spirituality connects us to that source, as in it allows us and it provides a channel for us to tap into said source.
But once we tap into it, we don't need spirituality anymore, do we?
Exactly.
Because it just becomes, like we've just been talking about this whole fucking episode, it just at first might seem amazing and cool and whatever, but at some point it just becomes us. It just becomes part of who we are, and it's natural.
And that's the ultimate goal. Because if we keep pushing spirituality outside of us, as in turning to this practice or that modality, there's never an end. What people have to understand is that is a big fat rabbit hole, right? Because we are so sourced, we are creators. We can create and create and create to no end, which means we can create more problems for ourselves. So that way we can create more solutions. We can just keep seeking. If that solution isn't satisfying, then we can keep, like you said, scratching at the surface until a scar develops. And then we have to go find another treatment for that. It's like, it's never ending. I promise you. And a lot of people, I've seen this, the level of addiction that people have, because those moments of solution finding or self-discovery feel so great.
Oh my God, it's such a fucking high.
It is. It really is. But at some point,
sometimes. I miss it sometimes.
It can feel that way, because you're like, wow, that's when I felt so connected.
Well, it's also just when I felt like it's just a little bit unburdened. But the difference is then I have to remember how burdened I felt before I felt unburdened. I don't miss that.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to create more burdens so then you can experience the unburdening.
Yeah, it's like literally yo-yo dieting, but for your spiritual body. It's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. And so people will just hook into that over and over in order to get that sort of satisfied high. Yeah. But again, it doesn't last. What really lasts is the feeling where I can create my life for myself. Yeah. That's the never-ending bit, where spirituality has become you. You've become the divine, and you have the capacity for full divine consciousness.
And you know what? That sounds wordy and long and a bit intense.
Thank you, Rhea.
But amazing. But the way, when you say it, the way I look at it and think about it is that, all right, I was in my karma and I followed my heart, right? Or my soul, as you call it. I did the crazy things that everyone thought I had a lot of judgment towards. And I gave myself permission to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it, right? Yeah. So where I am today, I created that for myself, right? Every person that walked into my life, I'm the one that spoke to them. I'm the one that interacted with them. I'm the one that did whatever I wanted to do to create those experiences with them. I said yes to going to the gym. I said yes to being on a podcast. I created everything amazing that I look around in my life. I said yes to. Yeah. So I created my life. No one else. No. Not because someone gave me a modality, not because someone gave me this or that. I mean, if anything, I would have loved if guidance had given me a modality at the beginning, going, oh, just follow this formula and off you go. And every time I wanted something, I'd do it. No.
Didn't they, Rhea?
Well, apart from saying yes to everything. But you know what I mean? It wasn't like, now you're going to sit down and you're going to write it on a piece of paper.
No, you created it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you did. They did give you a modality.
Well, karma's my bitch.
Yes.
Yes. But what I mean is,
okay.
so for modality then fine was the wrong word.
Okay.
Like, ritual or seance or whatever. Like, you know, I'm going to like close my eyes and I'm going to like imagine this tree, and then from the trees dropping.
Oh, you mean like a daily practice?
Yes.
Oh, and then every day, Ray, you're going to feel better and better until one day it's just all going to like...
Yeah, and at the same time, every time you want
rainbows.
something, you want that car, just go home and do this practice, and then your car will calm or whatever.
Yeah.
Then, first of all, I would have no connection to anything other than a practice. And at some point, that would definitely lose potency because it doesn't everything. Yeah. And actually, I wouldn't be able to turn around and go, I created this all myself. Whereas I did. I said yes to fucking everything. The modality was find your own fucking power and realize that you have created everything. Yeah. So therefore you can create anything.
Yes, exactly. So all you have to do is just go do something with your life.
100%.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. For more information, articles, and inspiration, find us at karmasmybitch.com and at karmasmybitch.insta.
And if you liked what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a review.